So this was street scene that I did as a demo, drawing demo. I think it was the second week, so I did a bit of this, and just started to add some watercolour and a little bit of gouache, so a little bit of paint watercolour as well. So I'll just do a tiny bit more of that today, but it's more to say. So it's actually the first week of new month, 5-week month, and the theme for this month is boats and coastal scenes. So if you wanted to do something along those lines, I brought some photos in here, or if you've got other references of your own, that would be great. So yeah, that's the theme for this month. Well, I haven't quite got there myself yet, so I'm going to carry on with this one for a minute. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else to mention. I'm going to order. So I've got an account with this this company CY. So these are like an educational supplier of art materials. I tend to buy lots of my sketchbooks and things like paper and things like that. Some of their stuff is good. Some is not quite up to scratch, you know, for art purposes. But they're a good company. So I'm ordering a few bits in. If anybody else wants anything ordering, or wants to have a look through here, I can let you know what I think of, you know, whatever it might be. But the prices would be whatever the prices are in here plus VAT, and just a couple of pence just to round it up or down, sort of thing. But I find them quite good for, you know, various bits and bobs. So just let you know that. One idea that we could do either later in the month or in the month to come would be lino printing. So we did some last year, and some of the students in each of my groups have been interested. It's not for everybody, not everybody's interested, but it's something that I put on last year and I put on once or twice before. And so I will order some lino out of here, so if anybody wants to do lino printing. So that could be something that we do in a few weeks' time, if there's enough interest. So yeah, I think that's it. I brought some of my pictures from the weekend in Southwold. Yep. So with this one, I've actually started with quite a warm colour. I thought it'd be quite interesting to put like a warmish colour on, then put a cooler colour over the top, just as a different approach, rather than just go for this sort of straight for a pinky sort of stony colour. So that's just a little bit of something I'm experimenting with. So let's try a bit of blue, particularly actually on the rooftops. That might be a bit too blue actually, maybe I'll tone that down a little bit. Maybe make it a bit grey. But it's something that you can do with watercolours, is have like a wash of one colour of another. And you get a sense of one colour sort of illuminating or glazing through. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that with the very strong blue. And then the idea with watercolour is sort of leaving some lights bigger area. So if I was going to paint this whole area here, I could go in with make that area a little bit warmer, a bit pinkier. So the idea is to either try and paint around the things like the windows that are a different colour, or if you went over them, you've got a chance, if you work quickly, you've got a chance to sort of lift the paint out. So you could go in with a dryest brush, or a brush that you've dampened, and then just take the moisture out of it, and then you should be able to lift a certain amount of colour out like that. Obviously you've got to work quite quickly, because once it's dry, it's not going to come out. But rather than paint around everything and get like a blotchy look, that is another option you've got with watercolour. So that's just something I thought about the other day. I think these bits I've painted before there, so they're not lifting out. But this bit here, it's not completely lifted the colour out, but it's probably got enough out to be able to give you a contrast. So that's that. And then other areas, such as here, I've added a little bit of white paint with the lettering. So that is somewhere where you have a difficulty of paint. You know, if it's a lighter thing than the background colour, I use a little bit, just the white gouache paint, and then you can try a little bit more on the windows. Just tint that tiny bit. I should be able to knock a bit lighter. It's not showing up. Go lighter still. Yeah, so that sort of thing. You could, if you wanted it that light, you could then put highlights like that. This lettering here, I think with lettering, it can be quite, sometimes a little bit too eye-catching. So I want a sense of that's a signpost and something going on, but I don't necessarily want it too bright. So sometimes I will either break the lettering up a little bit, or just have it almost like a tone darker. So this would be, so this is basically just popping it in a little bit darker. And because that is in shadow, it wouldn't be too bright anyway. So this, I want to go a little bit bright, so I could perhaps just sort of put it in a little bit sketchily. So it's almost like a hint of lettering rather than overstating it. Because the real subject for me is like the line of buildings and the way the shadows are coming across and things like that. So, yes, that's a little bit more on watercolours and using gouache. Yeah, so if you're interested in the next project, sort of boats and seascapes and coastal things, it could be any sort of interpretation. It could be just like water and waves, or it could be people on beaches. So, yeah, have a look, see if you've got any references, if that interests you. I brought there's a couple of folders there with the images I've got, so if you want to have a look through those.
Exactly, you have to do it outside.
Yeah, or you can go outside, even better, yeah, it's a lovely day today.
Come with me.
It was a bit breezy this morning, but I was thinking now it's lovely, isn't it, if you wanted to go and look at it. So, yeah, last week I did do a little outside demo. It wasn't really hot yesterday, but today's a bit more manageable, really. But if anybody wants to work outside, you're very welcome. And we've got lovely a little boat there and some nice glittery light on the water, or you could look through the window. Is that okay? Yep, all good. Right, okay, I'll let you. Right.